We continue now at the top of Daf Zayin Amud Aleph and Meseches Menachos. This is Menachos Daf 16a. The Mishnah says, Pigel bekometz velo belavona. If he has an intention of pigel by the kometz and not the lavona, meaning by the burning of the kometz and not the burning of the lavona, the frankincense, by a carbon mincha, or belavona velo bekometz. Let's say he has an intention of pigel by the burning of the lavona, but not by the burning of the kometz. We have a machlokas tanaim as follows. Rabbi Meir says pigel, that it is pigel, v'chayav in all of kares, and one is chayav kares in such a situation if he partakes of that carbon. V'chachamim omer, and the chachamim say ein bo kares, there is no kares ad sheyafagel b'chol hamatir, until he has an intention of pigel in the entire matir. Rashi explains pigel bekometz b'haktaras kometz. We're talking about here the burning of the kometz, not the actual taking of the fistful in the hand, but the burning of the kometz. Chishev al hashiraim, he has an intention outside the proper time about the remainder of the carbon mincha in terms of eating the carbon mincha outside the proper time. Ad sheyafagel b'chol hamatir. And again, according to the chachamim, it's only going to be a situation of pigel of kares when he has a pigel intention in the whole matir. V'haktaras echad mehen, and so therefore the burning of just one of them, chatzi matir, that's just a half a matir, the ikonami haktaras chaver, because you also have the burning of the other one, and that's why again, according to the chachamim, there is no kares in that situation. And the Mishnah continues, Umodim Chachamim Rabbi Meir. Now the Chachamim, they admit to Rabbi Meir, b'minchas chote uva minchas kenos, by the mincha of the sinner and the minchas kenos, which is the mincha of the sota. There is no lavona. So therefore, Shem pigel bekometz, that if he has an intention of pigel by the kometz, shu pigel, that it would be pigel, v'chayav all of kares, and there would be a liability of kares shah kometz hu hamatir, because the kometz is the matir in that situation. And the Mishnah continues, Shachar echad min hakavasim, if he slaughters one of the lambs, this is talking about by the shtei halechem of Shavuos, he slaughters one of the lambs, lechol beis chalos lamachar, to eat the two chalos, the two loaves, tomorrow outside the proper time. Hiktir echad min habazichin, this is by the lechem aponim, if he burns one of the spoons of frankincense, lechol beis sedarim lamachar, to eat the two arrangements of bread tomorrow outside the proper time. Rabbi Meir omer pigel v'chayav and all of kares, again a machlokas tanoim. Rabbi Meir says it's pigel and there's a liability of kares, v'chachamim omrim, and the chachamim say ein bo kares ad sheyafagel b'chol hamatir, there's no kares until he has a pigel intention in the entire matir. And the Mishnah continues, Shachar echad min hakavasim, if he slaughters one of the lambs, again by the shtei halechem, lechol mimenu lemachar, to eat from that lamb tomorrow outside the proper time, hu pigel v'chaveru kosher, so then that lamb is pigel, but the other one is kosher. Lechol mechaveru lemachar, if the intention is to eat from the other lamb tomorrow, when he slaughters lamb number one, he has intention to eat from lamb number two tomorrow outside the proper time, so then the Mishnah says, Shnehem kasherim, then they are both kosher. And the Gemara says, Amar Rav says, Machlokas. The Machlokas Tanoim is, Shenasan es hakometz b'shtika, that he burns the kometz in silence, meaning it's over there that he does not have a wrong intention, and then v'yas halavona b'machshav, and then by the lavona, which is burned after, he burns that with the wrong intention, the intention outside the proper time. So then we have a Machlokas again. It's a situation of a half a matter, whether it's pigel or not. Avol nasan hakometz b'machshav. Let's say he has the wrong intention by the kometz, v'yas halavona b'shtika, and then he's silent by the lavona. So then divrei hakol pigel. There actually everybody agrees it's pigel, because that really is the entire matter with the wrong machshava, because we assume shakol ha'osa al das rishona hu'osa, since he had a pigel machshava in the beginning by the nasan hakometz, which was first. So we assume that the second part, the lavona, which is done b'shtika, is just continuing with that pigel intention. That is Rav's understanding. Essentially, again, Rav saying that kol ha'osa al das rishona hu'osa. And the Gemara continues with another opinion. Shmuel Amar, Shmuel says, Adayin hi machlokas, it's still a machlokas. It's exactly the same machlokas. It doesn't matter what the order is. It is still a situation of pigel with half of the matir. And the Gemara continues, Yosef Rava v'ka'amar lo l'hashmaita. Rava was sitting, and he said over the teaching of Rav, again, the idea that kol ha'osa al das rishona hu'osa. And the Gemara continues, Eisvei Ravacha bar Rav Huna l'Rava. Ravacha bar Rav Huna asked Rava a question from the following brisa. The brisa says, B'amed devarim amurim, when do we say that it's pigel? That's b'kmitza, uvematan kli, uvehilach, if he has a pigel intention by taking the fistful. That's not talking about burning the fistful, it's talking about taking the fistful or placing it in the vessel or conveying it to the mizbeach. Avol bolo lahaktar, but if he comes to the point where he's supposed to burn the kometz, nasan es hakometz b'shtika v'es halavona b'machshava, if he burns the kometz in silence and the lavona he burns with the intention of pigel, or the reverse, es hakometz b'machshava v'es halavona b'shtika, or he burns the kometz with an intention of pigel and the lavona is b'shtika b'shtika is in silence. So we have the exact same machlokas. This goes against Rav. Rabbi Meir Omer, pigul v'chayav and all of karis. Rabbi Meir says it's pigul and there's a liability of karis. V'chachamim Omer, and the chachamim say, ein bo karis, atri afaga b'chol matir. It's not going to be karis until he has a pigul intention in the entire matir. And so it doesn't matter what the order is, it's clear that there's still a machlokas that seems to support Shmuel. It goes against Rav. And the Gemara says, Katani miha, we see nevertheless in this brisa, nasan es hakometz b'machshava, v'yas halavon b'shtika, even when the kometz is first, and there the intention is a pigul intention, and the lavon is b'shtika, upligi, and yet they still argue. Again, it seems to be like Shmuel, it goes against Rav. And the Gemara continues, Ema, well, we can change the words of the brisa as follows, uchavar nasan es halavon b'shtika. The way it should be read is, he already did the lavona first, b'shtika. That's the case, but it is actually true that if the machshava would be first, the intention of pigul would be first, that would carry over, kol ha'osa al das rishona hu'osa. And so again, therefore, if a situation is uchvar nasan es halavona b'shtika meikara, if he originally did the lavona b'shtika, that's what the brisa actually means. But the Gemara doesn't like this answer. Shtei tshuvas b'davar. We have two responses to this answer. Chada number one, dahainu kamaisa. If that's true, then the brisa is just repeating itself with the exact same case 2 times in a row, because the brisa said nasan es hakometz b'shtika v'es halavona machshava, and then es hakometz machshava v'es halavona b'shtika. If you say that they're reversing the order, the brisa is giving as a reason to give 2 cases. But if it's all the same order anyway, so why would you repeat the same thing? V'yod, and further, hatanya achar kach, we learned in a brisa, in another brisa, same brisa but a different version of the brisa, it says the words achar kach, that it does actually mean after the fact, meaning, again, it's not talking uchavar nasan as a lavona b'shtika, but the lavona is being done afterwards. And so therefore it seems clear, again, from this brisa, not like Rav. And the Gemara continues, Tirgam Rav Chanina. Rav Chanina answers on behalf of Rav, on behalf of Rava, bebeis deos. We're talking about a situation of beis deos, and Rashi explains, B'shtei deos means as follows. The echad hiktir kometz b'machshav. What happened is one individual burned the kometz with an intention. V'achar kach hiktir chaveiro levona b'shtika, and then somebody else burned the levona in silence. So there you're going to have a machlokas. To mishamachi pligi rabbanan. There, of course, the rabbanan will argue, Deleka l'memer al das rishona also. You can't say al das rishona if it's 2 separate people, and so therefore that's what the brisa means over here, but it doesn't necessarily go against the statement of Rav. And we will read back an earlier Rashi as well, B'kamitza, Devahanach Gimel Avodos, in these 3 Avodos, meaning before we get to the burning of the kometz, but let's say the taking of the fistful, etc., Ein Doma Lehen B'Lavona, there is no similar Avoda by the Lavona, Hilkach Kulo Matirhu. That's why by all of these Avodos, it's considered an entire Matir, it is pigul. The only question is by the burning of the kometz, where you have the burning of the Lavona as well, so that's considered a half a Matir. And Rashi notes, Holacha Mefarish B'Gemar L'Kaman B'Shmaita. When it comes to Holacha, the Gemara will explain later on, because there we do have holacha by the lavona as well, and the Gemara will address that. And the Gemara continues, Tashma, coming here a proof from the following brisa, Bamed Devar Mamurim, when is this true that we say there is pigul by the applications of the blood? That's Bedomim Hanitonin al Mizbeach Achitzon. That's when blood is applied to the outer Mizbeach. That's where one application is sufficient to permit the carbon. So there, if there's an intention of pigul, we say it is going to be pigul. Avol Domim Hanitonin al Mizbeach Hapnimi. But when it comes to the blood that's applied on the inner Mizbeach, that's referring to the Chatos Hapnimios. There are multiple applications. Kagon Mem Gimel Shel Yom Kippurim, for example, the 43 applications of blood on Yom Kippur, V'yachas Esrei Shel Par Kohen Mashuach, and there's the 11 applications of the Par of the Kohen Gadol, V'yachas Esrei Shel Par Helim Dover Shel Tzibor, and there's the 11 of the Par Helim Dover Shel Tzibor. So there, where there's multiple applications, so again, we have a machlokas Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim, Pigel Bein Barishona Bein B'Shni Bein B'Shlishis. Let's say he has an intention of pigel, whether the first, second, third. Rabbi Meir Omer Pigel V'Chayav and all of Karis. Rabbi Meir says it's pigel and there's a liability to Karis. The Chachamim Omer, and the Chachamim say, Ein bo kares, there's no kares, ad sheyafagel b'chol hamatir, unless he has a pigul intention in the entire matir. And so again, we can ask the same question, Katani miya, nevertheless, what does it say? Pigel bein barishona, bein b'shniyo, bein b'shlishis, he just had a pigul intention by the first, second, or third, upligi, and yet they still argue, meaning again, it's clear that we're not saying kol ha'osa, al das rishona osa. If we were saying kol ha'osa, al das rishona, then everybody would agree, essentially, it's as if he had a pigul intention the entire time once he has a pigul intention the first time. And the Gemara continues, now if you're going to say hachanami b'shtei deos, here also we're talking about different individuals doing the application, but that doesn't work according to all opinions. Hanichol leman da'amar bepar v'afilu b'damo shel par, that works according to the one who says bepar v'afilu b'damo shel par, with the bull and even with the blood of the bull. Essentially then it can be two different individuals. We'll see Rashi in a moment. Ela leman da'amar bepar v'lo b'damo shel par, but according to the one who says that the word in the pasuk is bepar and it means not with the blood of the par, so it couldn't be shtei deos, it could not be two different kohanim. So then ma'ikol ameimer, so then what are we going to say? And so again we're back to the question. It doesn't seem like this brisa is saying kol osa al das rishono osa. And the Gemara continues and answers. Amar Rava says hacha b'mayaskin, and here what are we dealing with? Kegon shepigel barishona v'shasak b'shnio pigel b'shlishis. He had an intention to pigel the first application, he was silent the second, and then he had an intention to pigel the third. So there already we're not going to say kol osa al das rishono osa. The amrinan, because we say yisal gadaitach kol osa al das rishono osa. If it should enter your mind this principle that he's doing the same thing that he was doing with the original intention, that intention is continuing. So mahader pigule b'shlishas lamali, what's the point of stating an intention to pigel the third time? Clearly he was not al das rishona because he stated pigel the third time. So in other words, in a situation where it's clear that it's not al das rishona, that's what the Bryce is talking about. Maskef la Rav Ashi asks on this answer, midi shasak katani, does it say anything about being silent in this Bryce? It doesn't ever mention that, so that interpretation does not fit with the wording of the Brisa. And so the Gemara continues, Elama Rav Ashi, rather Rav Ashi says, Hacha b'mayaskin, and here what are we dealing with? Kagon shapigel barishona uvishnia uvishlishis. He does have a pigel intention, the first, second, and third applications of blood. Because then again we say, if it should enter your mind that he's just continuing with the same original intention, mahader pigula b'shnia lamali, what's the point of continuously having those pigel intentions, first, second, and third? That indicates that it's only when he speaks out that intention. Otherwise, we don't say again, kala osa al das rishona hu osa. And Rashi explains, B'shtei Deos, again, if you're going to try to say that this Bryce is also talking about two different Kohanim, Shemeis Kohen Gadol, if the Kohen Gadol died, O Ira Lokeri, or he became Tameh, La'achar Hazos Debein Habadim, after the sprinklings in the Kodesh Kodashim, B'shimesh Achar Tachta V'hiza Behechol, and now a new Kohen Gadol comes and he sprinkles in the Hechol, Deleka L'meimer Al Das Rishona Hu Osa, there again, if it's two individuals, you can't say Al Das Rishona. Maybe we will try to give that answer in this Bryce as well. So Hanichol L'man Damar B'Meseches Yuma B'Perakot Tziulo, that works out according to the one who says in Meseches Yuma, par va'afilu damo shel par, that par even with the blood of the par, meaning shenamar bezos yavo Aaron bepar va'afilu b'damo shel par, means shem shachtu harishon, that if the first Kohen Gadol slaughters ve'ira bo psolin, he becomes disqualified. Yavo Aaron b'damo la kodesh, Aaron will come with the blood to the kodesh. Ve'in tzarich lavi v'lishchot pam acher l'didei, you don't need to slaughter a new par. So then have a matzi lukmei bebeis deos, then we could say it's two different individuals. Ela l'man damar v'lo b'damo shel par, but according to the one who says not with the blood of the par, lo matzi lukmei b'shtei deos, so then we're not able to say that we're talking about two different kohanim gedolim. Elamar Rav Ashi kagon shepigel barishona uveshnia v'shasak b'shlishis, so rather Rav Ashi says he had an intention first and second time and silent the third. The akati have a chater, again that's still a situation of a half matir, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Tazayin Amid Beis.